Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my final wave of NFL locks before the 2024-2025 season begins. And yes, in case you are wondering, we will once again be doing this on Prize Picks while their NFL seasonal prediction window is still open. I believe it remains open all the way until next Thursday. Couple of plugs before we hop right into it. Don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 entry after using code Wyatt's World at sign up on Prize Picks. But that's all I got for plugs. Let's get into my final wave of NFL locks. All right, folks, so here we are on Prize Picks, and before we go into the seasonal prediction window, I just want to tell you guys that the NFL is having a Caleb Williams free square for kickoff, where all he's going to need is one passing yard in week 1 for the entry to win. And like I mentioned yesterday, there's also a Jalen Milroe free square for this Saturday with college football. All he needs is 1 yard for that entry to win. But for anybody who's trying to find out how to do NFL seasonal predictions, you just have to go across the top here and navigate until you see this tab right here. And if you haven't noticed, right next to it over here, there's also an NBA seasonal prediction, and I would do that, I just don't know anything about basketball. Anyway, now that we've selected the NFL seasonal tab, we are in the predictions page, and you guys can see all the different options we have, and I think they've added like 10 more since last video. Like, I don't even know what to start with here. Why don't we look at 100 plus rushing yard games? Oh man. Dude, these look too good to be true. Are you kidding me? Jonathan Taylor having 4 games this year where he hits 100 rushing yards? That seems extremely likely. Breece Hall, Bijan only having to do it 4 times? ETN only having to do it 3? I mean, dang, these all seem so possible. I'm not gonna lie though, I think the one that I like the most out of any of them so far is JT though, so I'm gonna pick him. I think there's no question he will rush for at least 100 yards 4 times this year. I think he'll probably do it 5, 6, 7 times. In terms of the rest of these guys, I think I'm actually gonna pick Bijan Robinson as well, because I mean, he's my leading rusher on the year. I have to have the confidence in him. And I also can't pass up ETN doing it 3 times. I know I was critical on him, but I also know that team underperformed as a fucking unit last year. If you go look at the first year ETN played, which would have been 2 years ago because his rookie year he tore his Achilles, he rushed for 100 yards like 5 or 6 times. He can absolutely do it 3 times this year. All right, so now that we've filled up 3 of the 6 slots in this entry, we are actually going to transition over to the 100 plus receiving yard games. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick Jefferson here or not, but I will pick him at some point in this video, because last video I never picked Jefferson and people were legitimately fucking yelling at me about it in the comments. I still don't understand why, but I will pick him eventually. However, the one I see right now that's attacking me is the most guaranteed, even though these all seem pretty guaranteed, is CeeDee Lamb. Dallas just signed him. He's gonna play the entire year. This guy's my #1 receiver in the league, much like Bijan was my #1 rusher in the league. Gotta have the confidence. He will receive for 100 yards at least 6 times this year. And after kind of scrolling through this page, there's a lot of other ones that, you know, I think have probabilities to happen, but I'm not certain on, especially like this Mike Evans ones. It seems like he could do it 4 times, but last year he didn't even do it 4 times, and like I said, I have concerns about Baker without Canales, so I'm kind of teetering on it. However, I do think this Jamar Chase one is relatively solid as well, just because like I mentioned, I think the run game there is going to struggle, and even though they did keep T. Higgins, Jamar Chase is without a doubt going to be the #1 guy there, and that's Joe's #1 guy. I think he is going to get lit up. That leaves one more spot open. I don't want to go to a new category, so we might as well just fill this here. And I think I'm actually going to resort with AJ Brown having at least 5 100 receiving yard games, and you can go less on these as well. I always like to do more. Reason I pick AJ there over guys like Jefferson, Tyreek, and St. Brown is these are all probable. But Jefferson, I'm concerned about the QBs flipping in and out. Tyreek, he's getting old. He could get hurt this year. And St. Brown, much like AJ Brown, is playing on a team where they have a really good run game. However, AJ needs 1 less 100 yard game than St. Brown, so I think he has the upper hand. So my first entry for those who want to tag along is I have Jonathan Taylor rushing for 100 yards 4 times this year. I also have Bijan Robinson rushing for 100 yards 4 times this year. Then we have ETN rushing for 100 yards 3 times, CeeDee Lamb receiving for 100 yards 6 times, Jamar receiving for 100 yards 6 times, and AJ Brown receiving for 100 yards 5 times. I'm gonna wager a whopping $10, and if this hits, I get $250. All right, next category I have pulled up is pass plus rushing yards for quarterbacks. So, you know, total yards. Right away, I'm going to have to talk up a team I know I don't want to talk up like I did with the Lions yesterday, but honestly, Caleb Williams having more than 3,775 yards, that seems literally too good to be true. With his receiving core and his legs, I'm picking that. After further scrolling, I've realized there's only 12 total options for this, and you know, a lot of them, again, probable, and as much as I want to be confident on my guy Josh even, I'm not going to pick him. However, the one I am going to pick is T-Law. And the reason I like that one so much is because the last 2 years, he has thrown over 4,000 yards. That's not counting the 200 to 300 rushing yards that he brings to the team annually. Like, again, this one just kind of seems like a no-brainer. Switching categories now, we are just on the receptions tab, and this is the one where I will pick Jefferson to hit them more. I mean, all he needs is 93 receptions. That doesn't involve him having a ton of yards. It doesn't involve him having big yardage games. This involves him just being open and catching the ball, and that's what he does the best. Another one I really like is Mike Evans only needing 68 total receptions. I mean, he's done that every year since 2019 now. So again, as much as I might have small concerns with Baker without Canales, I'm pretty confident Mike Evans can catch the ball 68 times through 18 games. Another one on here I actually really like is Tyler Lockett. He only needs 64. And I understand JSN's gonna have a little bit of a bigger year, but Lockett's always been a reception machine, and I think he's always gonna be. And now for the last slot in this entry, we are gonna get weird and change it up, and we're going to pass interceptions. I know in the last video I picked Burrow here, and I still think that is a good pick, but I'm gonna change it up this video, and I'm gonna pick Anthony Richardson to have at least 10 picks. Understand, I don't hate the guy, but I think his throws are about as wild and unpredictable as a mountain scenery. So for those who wanna follow along on my second entry, I have Caleb Williams having more than 3,775 total yards. I also have T-Law having more than 4,099 total yards. Then we have Jefferson having at least 93 receptions, Mike Evans having at least 68 receptions, Tyler Lockett having at least 64 receptions, and good old AR throwing 10 interceptions. This will be another $10 entry for a possibility to win $250. And now we are moving on to the final entry, and it's the biggest entry, the $30 entry. And if this entry wins, I will give 2 of the people watching this video a jersey of their choosing, but you gotta comment on this video to get in the entry if this hits. So, first entry that I am absolutely stone cold confident in is Saquon Barkley running for at least 1,000 yards this year. If Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift could do that with Philadelphia, there is no reason Saquon Barkley can't do it if he avoids injury. And I know, like I said, they lost Jason Kelsey. I think I picked Saquon in the last video. They still have a great O-line, and Saquon is going to be a massive step up in talent from D. Swift or Sanders. Like, I think he's got this in the bag, no question. Another one I really like is actually Kyler Murray only needing 27 total touchdowns. Last 2 years, he hasn't even been here the full year, so you can't discredit him from it. If you look at a healthy Kyler Murray when he plays, he's good for 20 to 25 passing touchdowns and 5 to 6 rushing touchdowns a season. And that's not even mentioning the fact that now I think he has a wide receiver who has an honest shot to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now moving on to the rushing touchdown page, I love Jaden Daniels at least having 6. This guy's fast as shit. I think that's going to be a big part of their game plan, especially when they figure out how productive he is at it. His last 2 years in college, he had over 10 rushing touchdowns each year. Another one I love is Aaron Jones. I think he is going to be a big part of Minnesota's offense as long as he can stay healthy. Like I said, I have a feeling the quarterback game is going to be inconsistent. I still think Aaron Jones can bring a lot to the table. And every time they get inside the 5, I can almost promise he's going to get at least 2 carries every time. And now we're on the sack page where I'm actually going to avoid TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, because if you pick one or talk about one, then you have to talk about both. Otherwise, one of the 2 fan bases will bitch. I literally made a joke last week on Twitter about college football 25. I just put a picture of Myles Garrett out and said, this is what the linemen turn into when the game hits the 4th quarter. I literally had a Steelers fan comment saying, "Come on, Wyatt, you know it should be TJ Watt in that picture." What the fuck is wrong with you? However, the 2 I am gonna pick, and the last 2 for these entry that I really love, and there is a lot of really nice ones on here, but I'm going with Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. Will Anderson, I think I picked in the last one. All he needs is 8.5 sacks on the year, and I think him and Danielle Hunter are going to 8 this year. And when it comes to Dallas Turner, well, he already looks really good, and I think he has a good shot to go at the Defensive Rookie of the Year as well. He only needs 7.5 total sacks in order for this entry to hit. I'm very confident, especially with how much I think the Vikings defense is going to be on the field, that he is going to be able to at least get that. So my final lineup here, and it's my uber confident lineup, even though I'm actually not super confident. I wanted to just pick new players that I haven't picked before, even though I think I did double pick 1 or 2 people. But anyway, we have Saquon Barkley running for at least 1,000 yards. Kyler Murray having at least 27 total touchdowns. Jaden Daniel rushing for at least 6 touchdowns. Aaron Jones rushing for at least 6 touchdowns. And then bottoming out, we have Will Anderson having at least 8.5 sacks and Dallas Turner having at least 7.5 sacks. Like I said, $30. If this wins, I buy 2 people jerseys. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for my final wave of NFL locks before the season starts. If you guys enjoyed this video, you already know what to do to show support. You guys know I appreciate any and all help. In the meantime, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. And as always, I will see you in the next video.